Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to talk about the basics of TensorFlow, like how it's going to work, and I'm going to show you with the Python code. If you remember in the last video, guys, we have installed the virtual machine on our computer, like because TensorFlow is not going to come on the Windows machine because of some reasons. So it's going to come easily on the Mac OS and it's going to come on the Linux OS. So that's why I have installed the virtual machine with which we can use the Linux system in the Windows system itself, both at a time. So I have showed that in the last video, and I have installed the TensorFlow on the Linux machine in the last video itself. And before that video, I have talked about the tensor neural networks, introduction to neural networks, like how they work, why they are used, etc. So in this video, first of all, I am going to talk about what is TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a free and open source software library for the machine learning and artificial intelligence. It can be used across a range of tasks, but it has a particular focus range on the training and the interface of the deep neural network. So the TensorFlow is developed by the Google for these reasons. And we have another question that how the TensorFlow works. The TensorFlow allows the developers to create a data flow graphs structures that describes how the data moves through a graph or a series of processing nodes. Each node in a graph represents a mathematical operation, and each connection or edge between the nodes is a multi-dimensional data array, or it's also called as the tensor. So first of all, guys, I'm going to open here the virtual machine, because in this video, as I said, I'm going to show you the TensorFlow, like I'm going to show you with some of the examples. So for doing those things, I'm going to use here the Linux machine. As I said you, that TensorFlow is not going to come on the Windows machine. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I have to open here the virtual machine. We can just type here something, click on the start menu and then type virtual machine Oracle VirtualBox, and then it's going to come. So in the last video, I have showed you that how to set up the TensorFlow virtual machine and then how to set up for the Linux. So it has just opened here right now. Now I'm going to click on this one, powered off. It's right now TensorFlow. This window Ubuntu machine right now. So it's going to take some time for opening. So guys, we have a question that if you remember in the last video, I'm going to open here, right? In the last video, I said that I'm going to use the text editor for writing Python program. So guys, while using that one, I got a lot of difficulties, like I have to open that one and run there. So I was not able to use that properly. So I have installed the Sublime Text on the Linux machine. So it's pretty simple for installing that one. So I'm going to show you after opening this Ubuntu. It's going to open. After that, I'm going to show you till the time. Let's close this one. So let's go ahead. As you can see here, we are getting something like this. So here I have to enter my password. Let's enter this one here also, same thing. Okay, now it's unlocked. Now guys, this Ubuntu is going to look something like this, as I showed you in the last video with the virtual machine. Now I have all of those stuff right now. So guys, first of all, we have to install the Sublime Text here. So I have already installed that on my computer. Open your browser in the Linux machine, which we have right now, Firefox, the browser. So after opening this one, you have to type here something like sublimetext.com. So I have used here the Atom, but guys, for installing the Atom, it's not pretty simple for installing. So I got a lot of difficulties for downloading. So I have just find a way for downloading Sublime Text. If I download the VS Coder or other IDEs, then guys, I don't have that much memory on my Linux machine. Now let's click on this downloads, and after clicking on this downloads, you have to click on the direct downloads. So we have the Mac OS, Windows as a portable version. So I don't want these things because we have right now a Linux. Right, so let's click on this direct downloads. Then you are going to get this one. So right now, guys, we are going to download here the Sublime Text 4. So we have the Sublime Text 3.2. So the newer version is the Sublime Text 4. So anyhow, we have the dev file, which is that. Okay, so what I've done is I have installed this 64-bit dev file. So you have to double click on this. You have to click on this one, then it's going to install that. Download that on the folders in the downloads here. So I have already downloaded this one. After downloading, you have to double click this one. It's going to open the Ubuntu software. So guys, there is a Ubuntu software, like if you on the Windows, Like for example, if I go on my Windows machine, let's minimize. If I go on the Windows machine, like I have the Microsoft Store, something like this. There also I have the Ubuntu machine. Now, right now, I don't want the VirtualBox open. So, anyhow, now we have the Sublime Text build for AMD, this one right now. Now you have to double click on this one, then Ubuntu software is going to come something like this. So from Ubuntu software, you can download a lot of things like whatever you want. But right now, we are downloading the Ubuntu Sublime Text. So if you go on the Ubuntu software and then type Sublime Text, you are not going to get. So this is the way to double click on this one, then you are going to get something like this. You are going to get a button for the install, then you have to install something like that. So I have already installed this one right now. I'm getting the option to uninstall, so I'm not going to do that. Now anyhow, let's open here the Sublime Text where we have this one. So it's going to open right now. We have already. So first of all, I have already created a folder known as ML with Python, but I have deleted that one. On the home page here, I have created that one. New folder, create. So whatever the code that I am writing here right now is going to get in the description below, so that you can go there and copy the code. So whatever the code that I am going to write here, I am not going to save that here. I am not going to run that. I am going to run that in the terminal itself. Now we have the TF basic. So I didn't create the TensorFlow.py because while I created those types of files, so it's going to take other files, something like that. So anyhow, now what I'm going to do is here. In the last video, we have installed the TensorFlow all the stuff, but we forgot to test that, like is it installed or not. So for doing that one, you have to press Ctrl Alt T on the keyboard. Then it's going to open a terminal on the Linux machine itself. So then you have to type here something like Python 3. I have opened this one, and you have to type here something like import TensorFlow. Sorry, have done a mistake. Close terminal. Okay, reopen it. Python 3 and import TensorFlow as TF, something like this. So I am getting this all of the stuff. So I have copied this one and pasted this on the browser. Then it's saying that these are not the errors, or we are not getting any warnings. So this is just saying that if I copy this properly from here to the, let's copy it till here, copy this one, and I'm going to close this one right now. We don't need it. So if I paste that in the Firefox web browser, it's going to take some time. So let's paste it and enter it. So what I'm getting is I'm getting something like this page, and if I click on this one, then it's going to open this page and saying that what does this TensorFlow message mean, and side effect was the installation successful. Right now we are getting the, so he asked the question, and then what he is saying is means in the places performance matrix and all of those stuff. So this is successfully installed, so we don't have any problem. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, so I know that. So now we have to do is we have to run here the commands like import TensorFlow as the thing, but I'm going to run this in the terminal as I said you before. So here in this one, ML with Python, right click here and open in terminal. I'm going to minimize this one, but guys, here I'm going to open the normal terminal where this, okay, and here I have here the htop. If I close it, this one, this is the htop. So I'm going to talk about the use of htop, because if you on the Windows machine, if I come here, then I have the task manager, right? Like I can see here I have the what are the tasks that I'm running here. Like I have the Google Chrome Notepad, and these tasks I'm right now I am running those things. But on the Windows, on the Linux, we don't have any task manager, something like that. So here we have the htop where you can see the CPU and all of those stuff. So we can, for downloading htop, I didn't remember the command. So the command is sudo apt-get install the htop. If you run that on the terminal, do apt-get install htop, you have to enter the password. It's saying something like this, so it's already installed on my computer, so that's why it's showing me something like that. Then the htop is going to come. So on the htop we can see here two things, like we can see something like this. So I don't know this thing right now because I'm just working with the terminal itself. So Now let's start here by the coding. Let's type something like import TensorFlow as TF. I don't want this one. So TensorFlow as TF, we have imported this one. Below this one I have to run, give something like x1, or let's give something like x equals to something like this. Okay, x equals to, it's going to be something like TF dot constant. I'm going to use a constant, and I'm going to use the 5. So I'm going to talk about that what I'm doing here right now, so which is TF dot constant again, and it's going to be the 6, or let's use here the 10 into 2. Okay, now here what I'm going to do, output equals to, and it's going to be something like TF dot multiply. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just doing right here the basic code for the TensorFlow, which is I'm running here, I'm multiplying here the two numbers like 10 into 2. Okay, and multiply, and that is y x into y, something like that, or let's do something like x comma y. Okay, and below this here we have to run print here the output, and guys, it's going to come something like this. So just I have written the basic code for the multiplying the 10 into 2. Now if I open the terminal, just you have to type here, now you have to type something like python 3, and you have to give it the name of the file that you are writing code, that is tfbasics.py. So I'm going to get here in the terminal also. So, and the output, the actual output that I am getting here is tf.tensor, and I'm getting here 20. The data type is int, which is 32 into 32 bit, and I have the 20, which is going to the output. 10 into 2 is the 20, and the shape is nothing. Okay, so if you are not familiar with this, if I give here something like 3 into 2, and if I save it and run it again, I'm going to get here, wait, the output is 6. 3 into 2 is 6. So anyhow, we don't want this one right now, so I have just shown you the example. Like, so before this one, right, in the previous versions of the TensorFlow, there you can get something like multi something like that, or mul something like that, it's going to work. But nowadays it's not going to work, because the new versions of the Sublime, the new versions of the TensorFlow has came right now. Now we have the import TensorFlow as TF. If you are, as I said you before, in the terminal you have to type python 3 and enter, then you have to type something like import TensorFlow as TF. And then if you are getting the message, then guys, it means that it has successfully installed on our computer. Now guys, I'm going to show you another way of getting the output in the terminal. So I said that because we know that how to do that in the Python, but we don't know that. I am going to show you that just with the TensorFlow, right? So I have just created this tutorial for the TensorFlow basics, so that's why I am showing you all of this stuff. So let's comment this out, and here let's give something like output, and it's going to be equal to x into y, or let's remove this space. Okay, now let's run it in the terminal itself again. So for running that in the Sublime Text, you have to press the Control B here, then the output is going to come. Now anyhow, we are getting the tensor tf.tensor, and we are getting the output is 6, and the shape is something like this. Now if I show you a lot of ways for running this one, we have the output, this one, right? Now if I make this one comment it out, and you have the print, we have the print output, and below this one I'm going to create something like session equals to, and it's going to be dot tf dot session. Okay, and it's going to be in the brackets here, session. Here we have save it. Now below this one you have to print here something like this, like ses dot run. I have to give something like that, ses dot run, and it's going to give you something like the output. Save it. Now I'm going to run this in the terminal itself, rerun it, clear it, and rerun it. Right now let's see how the output that we are going to get, like attribute module TensorFlow has attribute mean the version session. We are going to get here this output. So guys, as you can see here on the screen right now, we are getting this error, and the error that we are getting here is because of this session, and the session is not available in the newer versions of the TensorFlow as it's available in the TensorFlow 1.0, and it's not available in the TensorFlow 2.0, the newer versions of the TensorFlow. So anyhow guys, that's all for this video. So these are the ways with which we can print. So I didn't show you some of the ways. So these are the ways that with which we can, but with this session you can't do this one. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.